Good afternoon, and thank you for joining Qvinci's franchise webinar series. Today we will be talking about improving franchisees' compliance with Qvinci as it relates to financial reporting. So excited to have this topic. It's been one of our more popular ones, so wanted to redo this one and give you guys a opportunity to understand how Qvinci can help with franchisee compliance as it relates to financial reporting. So my name is Caitlin Underwood. I am an account executive over here in the franchise space with Qvinci, and I will be going through our presentation today. It's going to be a little slides in the beginning, and then we'll walk through the application, and then at the end we will be doing a little Q&A. If you have questions along the way, please don't hesitate to utilize the question pane, and we will get those addressed either during the presentation or during that Q&A session at the end. So again, thank you for taking the time to join the call, and we'll go ahead and get started. Always like to point out other webinars that we have coming up. On November 16th, we'll do financial mistakes that kill franchisees and how to avoid them. Excited about that topic. And then on December 7th, more of a training webinar, but how to use SCOA, which stands for Standard Chart of Accounts, which we'll be using that terminology today as an alternate presentation. And that is actually one of the compliance measures that we will be speaking about in depth today, keeping every franchisees on that same chart of accounts. So that will be a specific how-to regarding that. So recommend that you guys to sign up for that one. Our VP of Customer Support will be leading that effort, and we'll be able to address questions surrounding the chart of accounts. So excited about these upcoming webinars. Always like to start out with a couple businesses that we do business with. We love our clients. We love learning about their needs and having a product that supports the franchise space, especially as it relates to financials. We want to give you that ability to understand what's going on in your franchise environment so you're able to spot trends and be proactive about the profitability of each and every franchisee. Be able to reallocate resources to help those maybe underperforming stores, as well as reward the ones that are top performers. So we all of our account executives over here at Qvinci are going towards their CFE. We actually all have the credits. We just are waiting for the ceremony at the IFA National Convention next year in January to graduate. So we love the franchise space. We love learning about it. And we love our clients. So hopefully we'll see your logo up on our slide shortly. A little bit about the agenda today. We'll just kind of go over a brief overview of Qvinci and its history, the technology that is what Qvinci is made of, why compliance is important, and why non-compliance is bad, how to facilitate compliance with Qvinci, building a better FDD, and how does Qvinci play a role with all of this? What are the benefits and key features? We'll walk through the application, and then we will do a quick Q&A at the very end. A little bit about Qvinci. Qvinci was founded in 2007 as a reporting add-on for QuickBooks. Our founder, Charles Nagel, was a turnaround consultant, and he was a big proponent of checking the data early and often, understanding what's going on. You know, I'm a franchisor. I have 20 franchisees. How can I best support them and know what's going on with their financials in a non-invasive way, but have the ability to use resources to help the business grow before it's too late. We had a franchise client that their first and third top performers went out of business unexpectedly because of reasons with their bottom line. Something wasn't added up. They weren't managing their expenses. They had a personal situation going on, and if they would have had Qvinci prior to that, they may have understand what was going on and seen the decline in their bottom line. So be able to understand what's going on with the data, checking it as often as you would like, not waiting for franchisees to submit their P&Ls to you, or using a third party to go in and try to get that information. So that's kind of how the concept of Qvinci came about. Shortly after we were founded, Intuit approached us, specifically the Intuit franchise program, in 2011. They really liked what we did. We have the patent on dynamic mapping of a standard chart of accounts, so we really are great with consolidation, and they liked that aspect of it. So they asked us, they said, hey, we would like to consider you for being a reporting solution for our franchise program. Would you be interested? And we said, absolutely. So we put our name in a hat, and they vetted all these different companies, and they chose us as the reporting solution. So we're very proud of that. If you actually go to the Intuit franchise program and click on reporting, you will see our name, our logo, our brand, as we are their reporting solution. Also, if you go to their app store, we are the top-rated reporting app. We have some reviews over on the store, so if you want to get an idea of how others view our solution, I would recommend you go and check that out and get some non-biased responses about us. We're very proud of our rating within the App Store as being that top-rated reporting app. Last but not least, patented consolidation and mapping technology. We are very good at consolidation. We hold a patent on it, and we are very proud of that. And what we want to do is give you a standardized way to see how your franchisees are performing across the board. And because we standardize that, you're able to see true consolidation, as well as you're able to give your franchisees the ability to benchmark themselves against their peers. We will go into that in depth later, but when I say SCOA, it means Standard Chart of Accounts, and that is where we have our patent. A little bit of technology overview. When we talk about financial reporting, we're not talking about an accounting software. We're not replacing a QuickBooks. We're not replacing a Xero. We are simply a add-on, a layer on top of that. So you have the ability, the franchisee runs their books as is, and as the franchisor, you have the ability to link up to their software and gather the data that you need to understand how they're doing with their P&Ls. Franchisee compliance, I mean, a lot of people put you need to submit, monthly or annually financials to a center so we can understand it. Qvinci is financial reporting that helps. It's an add-on to the accounting software. Again, it doesn't replace it, but it just simply automates tasks and improves efficiencies in-house. So a great add-on solution for your franchisees, because I've looked at a lot of FDDs, and a lot of franchisors are very specific about utilizing QuickBooks or a specific accounting application. So a great way to have another level of support. Why is compliance so important? A compliant franchisee is probably a happy franchisee, and a happy franchisee is probably a happy franchisor. They're running their business. They're doing a great job. They're being compliant. They're making money. They're happy, and because of that, they're able to provide royalties back to the franchisor. So you want everyone to be on that successful same page of compliance. The ones that are not happy, they're not performing well, they're probably not compliant either. So you want to understand right off the bat who's being compliant and who's not, to maybe avoid situations of unhappy franchisees and avoid items that might be more problematic for a franchisor. A consistent brand experience requires standards, including financial standards. My favorite questions to ask a franchisor is, do you guys have a chart of accounts? 9 times out of 10, yes. And then my second favorite question to say, how compliant are your franchisees with utilizing that chart of accounts? And most of the time we get laughed at because the compliance is not there. Anything above 65% is been on the high end from what we hear from our franchisors. So Qvinci allows you to have the ability to standardize your system system-wide, but also giving the franchisee the flexibility to run their books as needed. so they're not having to do anything too drastic to change that. So standardizing that chart of accounts plays a huge role. Non-compliance of a single franchisee can hurt the whole system. You know, every time I go to an IFA workshop or something of that nature, I hear the same story. When as a consumer, when you walk into a franchisee, retail store or a fast food place or somewhere, and you have a poor brand experience, no one ever says, "Well, man, this franchisee ABC at its location was not compliant with the ZOR. They're not doing very well." No, it's usually the brand name up front. The brand name's terrible. I got the poor service when it was individually owned. So understand that non-compliancy of one franchisee does hurt the whole system. It does hurt the brand. So want to make sure that everyone's on the same page, especially as it comes to financials, unit economics, profitability. Non-compliance, again, it goes back to, an unhappy franchisee, probably not compliant, and not bringing in the profitability for themselves as well as the royalties for corporate. So want to have the ability to understand and identify those non-compliant franchisees before it's too late. Maybe before, you could, get them to sell their location or have do a transfer or something of that nature before it does not end well. So understanding right off the bat what's going on with their financials in a very non-invasive way, where you're not analyzing a specific transaction or anything of that nature. You're just seeing a profit and loss, a balance sheet at a summary level to understand what's going on. Because disease do have that opportunity to act independently. That's why they come to a franchisor. They like the brand, they like the concept. They may not have the creativity to think of something like that, so they buy into your brand, but they get the ability to run it as their own. So a great way to have the franchisee to act independently and do what they need to do, but at the brand level, you are getting the information and the compliance you need as a franchisor. Want to make sure that the whole franchise system is in alignment, and you're using resources the correct way, whether they're your franchise business consultants, SCs, to focus on the underperforming stores before it's too late. So want to make sure everyone is being compliant. How to facilitate compliance. Transparency is a huge topic in the franchise space. It's the best to be transparent from day one. We'll always recommend having an FPR in your item 19 of your IDD, so FDD, so you understand what's going on as a potential franchisee to come on board. And Qvinci helps you do that because it's gathering financial data from your whole system environment. You can put together averages based off your chart of accounts and very easily have that in your FDD. You have that ability, and it's backed up by financial evidence. You're not having to utilize a third party to go get that, or again, you're not having your franchisees submit data, because having a large franchise environment, everyone's sending in a P&L for either at the bare minimum annually. Not only do you have to pull teeth to get that, you have to make sure it's in the right format. And then at the end, what do you do with it? Do you just store it in a file? Do you analyze it? Do you put it into a single document? All that takes time. And what Qvinci does is that we allow you that transparency from day one, where you have anytime access to log in to view the financial performance of any location within the environment. It's a great responsibility, and people, when they turn on Qvinci, are shocked at what they find out. Just having that insight that is hard to get without a lot of manual tasks involved. Again, build a better FDD. Keep it updated with new financials of what's going on. use Qvinci to gather those financials so you can put together not just the top line sales, but a full P&L maybe from your chart of accounts of what an average XYZ franchise makes. So we give you that ability to do that, and you want to consistently be every year updating that FDD based off the needs of your business. So Qvinci is a great tool to help with that, especially as it relates to item 19. Now, a little bit about Qvinci. How does it help? We talked about because you're linking and syncing with all of your franchisees' accounting application, you have 24/7 access to view those up-to-date financials. You're not looking at old data. You're looking at data as far as the last time your franchisee has gone in and made changes to their QuickBooks. They're staying ahead of growth. I've had a franchise say, we are growing very fast. We don't necessarily utilize Qvinci right now because of, we're growing fast. We know we're profitable, but I know there's going to be a day that it's going to stagger off. It's going to be consistent. It's not going to be as growing as fast as it is right now. And they're like, we want to have the ability for when that time comes to understand the profitability of all of our locations and know how to run a great business. So they're doing a great job of staying ahead of growth. So when it does stagger off, they know exactly what to do. Identifies best practices. Because we have benchmarking abilities, it's not industry benchmarking that someone buys. It's benchmarking that is based off your franchise environment. It's based off your chart of accounts. Your franchisees can log in to view a like franchisee to them to understand how they're running their books without knowing who it is. It's all anonymous. And it really does. We'll show them, best practices. What does the top 10% do? What does the average do? But they have that ability to see that, as well as you have the ability to see that as well. And that goes to fostering that culture of continuous improvement. Keep wanting more. Don't settle for anything. Use financials and peer benchmarking to drive a sense of competition within your franchisees to make sure that they're staying competitive and they're becoming more and more profitable. And it keeps you at the front of the pack. A lot of franchise, when we speak to them from the day when they say they don't have a chart of accounts, they don't collect financials, they just collect a royalty check every month, and that system works for them. And when you say, well, what if you're missing out on other royalty opportunities because you don't know what's going on with the bottom line of your franchisees, they're usually understanding. They understand the concept and they want to understand and explore Qvinci in depth because they're missing out on opportunities as well. So Qvinci really is a great solution to keep you at the front of the pack, keep you on your toes, keep you in the game, so you understand what's going on with your business. Again, build trust by keeping everyone on the same page. You're transparent up front. Franchisor knows that what the franchisees are, how they're running the books, and the franchisees know that they don't have to waste time to submit financials and they get benchmarking. Whether they're on a different version of QuickBooks, and we'll go over what versions of QuickBooks and accounting applications we support a little bit later. But they're able to keep their favorite accounting system, and you're able to standardize at the Qvinci level so the Z can keep doing what they need to do, and you guys have the ability to do what you need to do. And it does foster a positive relations. When I turn on Qvinci for a client, and they call me up and say, hey, Caitlin, I did not know how much of a collaborative solution this would be because we turned this on for our franchisee, and I have our franchisees are calling me saying, well, I'm ranked 20 out of 20 in total income. What can I do to boost my profitability? And they're being proactive about reaching out to corporate to grow their business. So it does foster positive relations because they know exactly what's going on with their locations as well as they know what's going on with the top 10% in an anonymous way. And so now you have the ability to have that unit level data system-wide. The key features that we're going to go over today are going to be the patent SCOA, Standard Chart of Accounts Mapping, ranking, custom report builder, benchmarking, the ability to have unlimited logins, and forecasting. We're going to go ahead and kind of shift gears. Don't want to make it too PowerPoint heavy, so want to move into the application so you can understand how it works and what it looks like and how user-friendly it is. But recommend after this presentation, if this is something that you guys want to utilize, we have some contact information at the very end. So I would recommend reaching out to myself or some of the other reps over here at Qvinci to get a little bit more in-depth demo so we can really tailor the presentation to your franchise needs, to your franchise requirements. Because you can use this solution in so many different ways. So would really recommend reaching out to one of our corresponding reps after this. But we'll go into the demo in a high level, so bear with me as I switch gears to the application. All right. Right now we are looking at Qvinci. We're looking at a franchise demo account. It's an automotive franchise, and it has 26 different locations. So 26 franchisees, whether they're multi-units or owned and operated as a single unit, it doesn't matter. We'll sync up with all those different accounting applications. So right now we're looking at a true consolidated dashboard of all of the different locations in this automotive group. Now, how is the data being brought to Qvinci? When you're using an application like QuickBooks, there's two different types. There's the desktop version and there's the online version. If they are utilizing a desktop, which is Pro, Premier, or Enterprise, whether they're hosted at their computer on a server or with a third party, Qvinci has the ability to sync with QuickBooks. What we do is download a Qvinci Sync application to wherever the file is hosted. And when they go in and they perform daily bookkeeping tasks, or their accountant performs a daily bookkeeping task, we have the ability to automatically sync summary financial data from that accounting application. We sync the current year and we sync the previous 2 years. So at any time, you could be viewing up to 36 months of financials. We take summary financial data, so we do not take fraud-sensitive data that's based at the transactional level. So no credit card numbers, no social security numbers, no bank account numbers, simply summary financial data. Because it's automatically syncing, your franchisee is not having to manually submit that to you and being compliant with submitting manual financials. It's done automatically, and it's up to date. It's not you're submitting data from the previous month. It's syncing for what's going on now. So it's not old data, it's new data. With an application like QuickBooks Online or Xero, we just simply do a connection, a one-time link through the API, and the data is automatically synced at 2 a.m. Central Standard Time. So not having to worry about going in and opening the books, it's just continuously syncing with Qvinci at 2 a.m. Central Standard Time. So what this does from a compliance level is allows your franchisees to send you the information you need, and it's not taking time out of their day where they could be running their business. It's simply doing this automatically in the background. You now have the information to go in and view the reports, whether it's consolidated or whether it's side by side or whether it's for a group or subgroup. You have that ability. Once that data is brought over, now we need to understand how do we get them on the same chart of accounts, which is the next item in our compliance, standardizing on that chart of accounts. So before we do that, I just want to show you that the dashboard page, we have some widgets that the franchisees can log in, and you can log in and understand at an overview kind of what's going on in your franchise environment. So right now we are looking at the automotive group for 26 different locations. These can be named however you would like. This could be a franchisee utilizing QuickBooks Online. This guy could be a Zero. This could be a QuickBooks Desktop. It doesn't matter. We link and sync with all of these applications and bring that into Qvinci. What's cool is that you can also use what we call quick filters to group your data. Maybe you don't want to see everything together, or maybe you don't want to see a single location, but you want to see the Northwest region that has been opened, that has, that's under the franchise consultant, Jeanette, and just simply apply the filter and rerun the dashboard based off the specific criteria you've selected. So do you want to know the profitability of regions, of franchise consultants, of specific filters that make sense to your franchise business? So these filters are not, they're not set for you. These are something that are completely customizable to fit the needs of your business. And it's not just, I just want to see the North region. It allows you to drill down more. For example, North region with 1 to 2 bays that's been open less than 24 months. The more franchises you have in the environment, the more ability you will have to drill down. So Qvinci allows you to do this at the dashboard level and the reporting level. So when we're running a report and we want to go say, all right, I want to see how the Northwest region is performing. So let's go ahead, apply our Northwest region filter. Let's run a profit and loss, excuse me, and let's look at it by location. We don't want to see consolidation. We want to see individual location side by side for this calendar year to date, and with account mapping. Means I want to see it in my corporate standard chart of accounts, not in how they are running their books in-house. What this allows you to do is you build the report, and that fast it brings up all of the stores that fit the criteria Northwest region, and it brings up your chart of accounts, and it gives you the consolidation at the far end. So now you're able to go through and understand how your locations are performing, see if there's any kind of downward trends, see why is this store underperforming in a specific region. And then you're able to go through this and just kind of understand what's going on with your business. Now, if a franchisee has gone in and they've added an account that does not match the corporate standard, and they're not compliant with your chart of accounts, Qvinci will let you know that you have unmapped items. What this means is they've gone in and they've added an account that does not match the chart of accounts that you have handed them from day one. This could mean a couple different things for you. We have our franchisors handle this differently. Some of them use their franchise business consultants to go back and make them adjust their books. Others just utilize Qvinci as a way to standardize the chart of accounts in Qvinci, and they do not make their franchisees change. Completely up to you. But this will point out, as soon as they are linked and synced with Qvinci, this will point out if they are matching your corporate chart of accounts that you've provided to them. To go in and to change it to make sure that they are all operating on the same the same sheet of music, we give you the ability to load your SCOA, your standard chart of accounts, on file. So this can be completely customizable to the needs of your franchise business. And then we give you the ability to map to the SCOA. All these, here's my standard chart of accounts. I'm under the account type income, and all of my franchisees are compliant with income because there's no unmapped items. Now let's take a look at an account type that might have some unmapped items. So on the left-hand side, we have our standard, and then we have all of our franchisees' locations and their native accounts. So as you see here, there's no association dues for in your chart of accounts, and a lot of franchisees are using this account type. Well, What this could be is that maybe you want to go in and readjust your chart of accounts because you see all of your franchisees are using the same account and you want to add that. Or maybe this means, hey, let's go back and say this does not fall under association dues. This needs to go miscellaneous other expenses. Let's update that. Or do I just want to simply just take all these, check them, and then map them to the correct corresponding account so now everyone's standard within the Qvinci system? Qvinci allows you to do this very easily so you can map your accounts to your standard so you have compliance across the board. So you understand what everyone's doing. Now everyone's on the same chart of accounts. There's a compliant, the system is compliant. What Qvinci does is also take this one step further. Because now everyone's on the same standard chart of accounts, we give you the ability to benchmark. So let's say I am franchisee in Boise, and I want to see the top 10% of the franchise environment, and I want to build my report. What this allows you to do is to see the, let me make this Columbus real quick, to see the top 10%, how are they performing compared to myself? Do I want to turn on percent of revenue? So in an anonymous way, you don't know who these top 10% are. You don't know who these two performers are, but you get a full profit and loss of those top 10%, the average of those two locations. So maybe I need to cut down on certain expenses. Maybe I need to find a way to increase membership. When they log in, your franchisees have the ability to run this as well. With Qvinci, there's no the usership is unlimited. Invite your franchisees. Invite your franchise consultants. Let the franchisees have the ability to understand how to run a good business, and let your FBCs have access to the stores or territories they support, so they don't have to waste time when they go on site to view financial data. They have that before, and they can analyze it, so when they go on site to talk with their franchisees, as soon as they get there, they can speak to specific accounts, to their financials. They're not having to wait for the franchisees to pull them up or email them. Your FBCs will have on-demand access to view that. And your franchisees will have the ability to view their individual location or their multiple locations and be able to consolidate their locations as well as benchmark themselves. So it doesn't matter, whether they're on different accounting applications, different chart of accounts, whether they do or don't submit financials. Linking and syncing with Qvinci allows you to maintain compliance on these three subgroups of financials and chart of accounts and accounting applications. We speak with franchises that require their franchisees to use QuickBooks. And so when they're running a report, they can see your franchisees and the specific accounting application they're using. So this Vancouver location is running a 0. They're not compliant with the FTD on accounting applications. So very easily they understand, we need to get with them and to have them switch to QuickBooks. So a great way to understand what accounting software each and individual franchise is using. Some of them will submit information via Excel, and they don't even have an accounting application, and that's a great time to intervene and say, hey, we need to get you guys up in the 21st century. We guys need to get you to utilize a QuickBooks or a Xero or something to help run your books more efficiently, and you're using a specific accounting package. So we give the ability to show you what your franchisees are using right off the bat. One of the last compliance measures is around vendors. We have franchisors come in and find out that their franchisees are using unapproved vendors. Our vendor report very easily allows you to understand what your franchisees are using. If you want to build it by location, you can see each of your franchise locations and each of the vendors they're utilizing. So if you require them to use Pepsi products, well, Dripping Springs right here is utilizing Coca-Cola products. Or vice versa, if you want to see, I see the majority of my franchisees are utilizing this big boy advertising. Maybe that's an opportunity for you to call big boy advertising and strike up a national account and say, hey, I see my franchisees are utilizing your services. Can you guys provide us any kind of promotion since we're using it across the board? So great way to not only understand if they're using unapproved vendors, but a great way to understand which vendors they're using to find some areas of opportunity for promotion and incentives at a national account level. So Qvinci allows to help with compliance when it comes to vendors and that they're using the correct ones. So great report that you can utilize. When I talked a little bit about ranking a little bit later before, we give you the ability just really simply to understand what's going on in your franchise environment. If you have all of your locations and you build a report and you want to say, who do I need to spend the most time with? Maybe you want to search by total income and see, all right, store 19, 18, 17, and total income. These three, I want to utilize my FBCs. I don't have as many as I would like at the moment, so I want them to really focus on underperforming stores, stores that might not be compliant, and go in and help run their business better. So Qvinci allows you very easily to understand who your top performers are, who your bottom performers are they compliant with financials, and so on. So great application to utilize to understand what's going on with your environment on different fronts other than just submitting manual financials, automating that process, making sure they're all in the same chart of accounts, understanding what accounting package they're using, and if they're using the correct approved vendors. So great way to understand what's going on. If you want to take it a step further, have the ability to set alerts. Maybe there's a problematic franchisee and they keep overspending on specific expenses, and you want to help them, cut expenses or raise income. We give the ability to set alerts on key accounts for all of your franchisees. So maybe you want to go to their marketing expense because they are required to pay a specific royalty on marketing. What this does is allow you to set a specific alert. I want a daily or weekly reminder for month to date. I want to set a threshold because it's an expense of $1,000. Qvinci now emails you daily or weekly alerts and shows you exactly what this location is doing on this specific account, so you can avoid overspending or underspending and help them grow their business that way. Your franchisee can also do this as well and set their own alerts for their own accounts so they can stay on top of key accounts. So the possibility with Qvinci is really endless. You can utilize this tool the way you would, whether it's to check compliance, whether it's to help make your franchisees become more compliant, or just to use this as financial reporting. We really give you the flexibility to set the system up the way you would like, and the ability to log in so you're viewing anytime financials of your location to making sure you have a profitable franchise environment, to make sure your company, your brand is growing year over year, and to spot problematic franchisees or underperforming franchisees before it's too late, before they're not compliant, before they're not happy, before their business goes under, or before they just want to hit you with a lawsuit or something of that nature. We want you to have the ability to check your data early and often. That's what our company was founded on. So a lot of different things you can do with the application, a lot more functionality. Don't have time to go into it today, but wanted to take you through that. Security, hot topic these days. Understand we are hosted on Amazon Web Services, which is where Intuit is hosted as well. They're online. So SOC 1, 2, 3, HIPAA, FIPS, DoD compliance. We don't sync any kind of fraud-sensitive data. and Intuit performs an audit with a third-party company, try to break into our system once a year to see if there's any kind of vulnerabilities in the system. We successfully pass that audit every year. So we take security very serious, and I always like to show this slide to be transparent on where we're hosted and what the hosting company, what it carries, as well as what data we do and do not sync. This is a slide that I had with some of the names of our reps, some of the industries they support. Would recommend that if you want a more in-detail demo that is specific to your franchise needs, to let one of us know, and we can walk you through the application. So please reach out. We'd love to chat with you. With that being said, kind of want to open the floor for some questions. You can utilize the question pane within the GoToMeeting toolbar and start asking some questions. Love to get your feedback about what you guys think, address any questions, and go from there. Someone just asked, what does the setup look like? Because they're a large franchise. Okay. So the setup is very easy. When we create your account, we have the ability to onboard them very quickly. So what that means is we reach out to each and every franchisee. We get them to set up, and it's usually a 5-10 minute setup process, and then we schedule a 30-minute appointment with them. We spend the first 10 minutes linking and syncing the application, and then we spend the second 20 minutes walking them through, showing them how to run reports, and answering any questions they may have. So essentially our job is we want to create your account, we want to set your Z's up, and we want to essentially give you the keys to the car, or you just drive away so you have the data. You're not wasting your time to collect it. You're not wasting your time to standardize it. We want to take that burden off of you, so you just have the time to analyze and understand what's going on with each and every franchisee within your environment. Someone just asked that their franchisees utilize classes to represent different locations. Do you sync at a class level? Great question. So within QuickBooks, there is a class functionality where you can set up multiple classes for multiple stores or territories, and we do sync at the class level. So they would have the ability to pull in a class as a location. Question about limitation on specific number of franchisees. Is it too much? We have no unlimited. So whether you're you have 5 franchisees or 5,000 franchisees, we have no cap. We are a scalable solution, so there's no limitation on number of locations. Any other questions? All right. Well, I will leave the GoToMeeting going for a few more moments, but would love to answer your question. But appreciate you taking the time to join the call today. Hopefully that this has piqued some interest so you can start understanding what's going on with your franchise environment. So please reach out. We'd love to show you the application in depth. We'd love to show you how it could fit your needs and move you into the 21st century so you understand what's going on with your franchise environment and improving that compliance as it relates to financials. So thank you again, and have a wonderful rest of your day. I will leave the bridge open in case someone wants to chat in questions, but thank you again.